Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to At the End of Dark Matters. I am Matt. As me, as always, is Seb and Mike. Gentlemen, it's not Saturday morning. How's it going? How's the day been? Normally we get up, we have some coffee. We're doing this. We'll call it coffee.
I'm slightly more. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I said I'm happy it's not Saturday morning. So it.
Hey, we're slightly more awake.
Well, it's just I don't know.
Speak for yourself, son.
I'm fresh off the gym. Pre-workout still kicking in.
Oh,
Let's go, baby!
Oh, jeez.
I am amped up. Matt is the polar opposite of me. I can see by his expression over there.
Yeah, I was. I've been up for. It's almost bedtime. Is basically my thing. It's been a hell of a day, boys. It's been a hell of a day. I didn't. Yeah. Other than that, we're here. We're doing this. It's Monday. Let's hammer this out. We're gonna get raw. So in our new format, Monday night, Mike doesn't know this, but Seb and I have agreed we will be doing watch-alongs of Monday Night Raw every week for 3 hours.
Yep. And here we go.
No, we won't be talking wrestling because even I don't watch Monday Night Raw anymore live because fuck that shit.
I actually, it's funny you say that. So after WrestleMania, Junior wanted to watch Raw, and I'm like,
of course, yeah.
Like, okay.
Raw after WrestleMania, you have to watch.
So we watched the Rock and Cody thing, and it was all weird and uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that was 35 minutes longer than it should have been.
Oh my god!
Like it was like 45 minutes of them talking in the ring. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and then there's some match came on, and I'm like, what is this garbage? And I just changed it. I'm like, I'm out. This is crap.
Well,
wasn't good.
Yeah, it was a little bit hurting.
I'm no judge, but it wasn't good.
I did watch that one Raw because Raw after Mania, and then it was pretty well in line with the last decade of Raw after Mania, where it's a big wet fart.
Yeah, there was nothing interesting about it.
No.
Like there's nothing.
I think the last time anything super interesting happened on the Raw after Mania, Brock Lesnar came back, and that was 13 years ago.
Actually, I disagree. Last year's Raw after WrestleMania was pretty good because Brock just turned on Cody in the rink.
Yeah, but I saw that coming a mile away.
Oh, I saw that coming a mile away. Yeah, this is what you get. The new Seb on Monday nights. Let's go.
And salty.
Okay, so Seb is jacked up on what he's calling pre-workout. Wipe your upper lip, bro. Let's see. Anyways, gentlemen, we originally had scheduled a long-form discussion on Pearl Jam's new album, Dark Matters.
But I don't think it needs it. Oh, ouch.
Yeah, no, I would. I'm a bigger fan than you guys are.
I don't hate it, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's get into it. You guys had a listen.
I listened to it twice.
Same. I listened to it twice.
Because I'm like, okay, always the first time you're like, nah, should I not like this or should I like this? I'm like, okay. So I was driving somewhere. I'm like, let's back to back. So I started it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked about 3 songs.
Same.
I like Dark Matter was the best song. It's good. The last song, Setting Sun, is awesome. Because I think it's about Cornell. That's what I think it's about. I didn't read the lyrics, but that's just sort of what I kind of got the gist out of.
Interesting.
And then the second song, whatever it's called, track 2, I don't know. I like
React Respond.
Really?
Yes.
All right. I like different songs than you do.
Well, of course, well, I wouldn't expect you to like anything that I like.
Well, that's true.
But I do have to say, musically, they're amazing still. Like they rock musically.
Mm-hmm.
The melodies and the vocals to me, I can't stand. I don't like his voice anymore. I don't like even the melodies he put to the songs. I didn't like most of them.
Okay. Okay, so keep going, Mike. I have a comment on that.
Okay, like and he's got something to say. Like his lyrics are always very thoughtful. They're very thought provoking. But I can't get behind the voice. I just can't do it. And of course, I'm going to show you guys a video later of what I've been listening to today. And all this stuff I'm spewing on now is going to just be like, dude, you're an idiot. And that's the way it is. Actually, I found the other one that I was searching for. And it's, anyways.
Yeah, Mike found a new controversial band that he loves that we're just, they're not controversial.
Okay, we'll get into them in a few minutes. Let's Seb, give me your thoughts on Dark Matter.
Okay, so, it's fine. It is what it is exactly what I expected it to be. It's not groundbreaking. It's not, there's not like they didn't really, I don't know. They just all seem to wash together, all the songs. And
Mhm.
it's just like you can't really differentiate one song from the next. They all just kind of blend together. For me, it's
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
go
ooh,
ahead,
ooh.
Mike. You have a
Okay, because
comment.
this leads into my next thought. Before Matt, we will get to you.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
you two go.
a band like this that they've put out what 10, 11. I don't even know what album this
Yeah.
is.
Something like that.
They're long tenured. So long tenured bands.
Oh yeah, we're coming on 40 years at this point. I mean, they
Right.
dropped their first
Yeah.
first major release was in that class of 1991.
Yes.
And so they were around for a little bit before then. So
Yes.
we're coming up on 40 years.
A long time of making music. And so these bands that put out 10 plus albums, all their songs, and my favorite band is the one that's up here. These two got this band up here. They're just as guilty. They're parodies of themselves at this point.
They just
can't
recycle the same
They're
songs.
recycling the same. Pearl
Yeah.
Jam is as guilty as Metallica. They're recycling the same songs. I heard one of the songs sound like Nothing As It Seems, which is a great song. I heard some other stuff that sounded really familiar within these songs. And I think you put out 200 songs, and if you don't change your style, it's all going to sound the same after a while. Right. And it's no fault of theirs. They're putting out the best work they can, but they can't help but sounding. It's like the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones are only going to sound like the Rolling Stones. It is what it is. And that's fine. Like their music's fine. I don't know. I fell off the Pearl Jam wagon a long time ago.
So for me, the best song on the album is the fifth one, Won't Tell. And I'll give you my reasoning for it. His voice is different in that song than every other song. If you listen to his voice, he's connected to the lyrics or to whatever that song is on a deeper level than like Matt, you just went all black.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm
Okay.
There's an error I'm working on, so you keep going.
So for me, it's Eddie Vedder, Eddie Vedder, Eddie Vedder, Eddie Vedder, and then a deeper Eddie Vedder, like a connected Eddie Vedder, and then Eddie Vedder for like the rest of the album. Like he just sounds like you think Eddie Vedder sounds in every song. But yet for some reason when I hear the fifth song, there's something he's channeling something from a deeper part of him. Like the lyrics mean something to him very deeply. And you can tell in the voice and the melody. And it's the only one on the album that really kind of gave me pause, and I'm like, hold on, there's something to the song. So
interesting. No, I think you're right.
Like just listen to it like when you can, and it's listen to his voice.
I am right now, actually.
Like he's connected to something deeper than the rest of the album. I believe, anyways. I don't know.
Interesting take.
Also, so there's to me the Pearl Jam is also like a Tea Party problem. So their best albums are the first three albums, right? And then because they're sonically the most pleasing to the ear to the general population. But I guess what happened with Tea Party and kind of what I believe happened to Pearl Jam as their careers were going further is that they got bored playing the pleasing to the ear chords and melodies and stuff. But there's a reason why people like that, because it works. It works sonically, it works, in your ear. It resonates to your core, right? And I think a lot of bands, when they start exploring different melodies and dissonance and different keys and different scales, and they're trying to explore, they lose a lot of their audience because it's just not, as pleasing to the ear for the masses, so to speak. So, and I think Pearl Jam really, I don't know, I just don't find a lot of their melodies and rhythms in the album like that inspiring or great. It's standard to me. It just sounds standard. So I don't know. That's my take on it. It's fine. Like there's nothing wrong with it. It's not an album that's gonna go on like a constant rotation in my playlist. But maybe I've just outgrown Pearl Jam at this point in my life. Maybe. So, but definitely number 5 is one that I actually connected to a playlist because I really like that song. It's called Won't Tell. And then the very beginning of Upper Hand had a whole lot of promise, and then until he starts singing.
So
Like the first 40 seconds, I'm like, oh, this is a great song. Where are they going to go with this? And then the lyrics start, and I'm just like,
well, then it just goes back into that standard.
The standard Pearl Jam sound, right? So
it's comfortable. And hey, I'm not going to judge again, because what I'm going to show you later is going to.
Yeah. Let's. I should just
gonna not
have to dance around judging right now, because
you just wait.
Wait. Okay.
But we also haven't heard. We haven't heard your opinion of the album, Matt. Sorry.
No, we haven't. I'm getting there, but I just want to thank everybody that is just now jumping on. There was a bit of an error in the stream there, so thanks everybody for joining us. We are in the middle of our discussion on Pearl Jam Dark Matter. I enjoyed it. I'm going to disagree with both of you. I think they were
entitled to.
No.
Well, it's basically I'm almost obligated to at this point after 30 years of friendship. You guys, I think they had like 6 solid albums before it really started picking up the wobble. I don't think it really picked up a wobble till about 2000.
I was gonna say it's like Binaural was like their last good record, right?
Binaural was good. It was Riot Act and Lost Dogs didn't have a whole lot in there that I was really looking at, but Lost Dogs was really more of a not quite a compilation, but just sort of a mashup of stuff that they had sort of lost, and B-sides and whatever else was going on. So as far as the tracks go, Dark Matter is by far the catchiest one they had. That one's been just living in my head. It makes
sense why it's a single.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. They picked the exact right song. Like sometimes you go through, it's like this single sucks, and you hear the album, it's like, why didn't they put this one out? For me, the first 2 tracks, Scared of Fear and React Respond, I really dig. Waiting for Stevie, track 7, I'm enjoying. Dark Matter, obviously, I'm enjoying, because I walk around, I don't even know the lyrics yet, but they're slowly, but I'll be caught at work singing that one. Yeah. Setting Sun, it hadn't occurred to me that it might be about Cornell, but when you said
I never read the lyrics, but just as he was singing, it kind of had that kind of vibe to it,
right? It seems like it's a play on Black Hole Sun, right? Setting Sun.
Yeah. I mean, now that that's been put in my face, much like the sunlight coming through the crack in my curtain that I can't fix, it's like, oh my God, how could it not be? So I actually went to AZ Lyrics and looked this up. Here are the last 4 lines of the last verse. We can become one, last setting sun. Am I the only one hanging on? We could become one last setting sun, or be the sun at the break of dawn.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, just reading that and a few of the other lyrics in here, yeah, that could very well be about Cornell. Obviously, Eddie and the boys are the only ones that can really answer that for sure. So I guess I'll just have to go down and ask them in a couple of weeks, because they are kicking off their tour for this album here in Vancouver, May 4th and 6th.
I have a comment about that tour, actually.
That old Road Dogg thing where they're going to do 2 shows, but they're taking a day off in between. And fair enough. I like how they're doing it. It's full circle. They're going to start in Vancouver and come around and end in Seattle. This album may be a sleeper for me. It reminds me of the first few times that I listened to Down on the Upside by Soundgarden. I was expecting one thing out of Soundgarden. I got a completely different one. But that album became one of my favorites because there was some really eclectic stuff in there that was good for different times. This one is not as eclectic. It does sort of have those, for lack of a better word, meh songs. But I'm digging it. It's, the last time we took some time and broke down a brand new album, I listened to it a couple of times and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm good with not hearing anything but the one song ever again. But well,
I'm like that with most of them, so it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, and it's this one, Dark Matter is definitely going to end up on the like song list. Scared of Fear, React Respond, Setting Sun, Waiting for Stevie may also end up on there. But I mean, I was driving around work today. I was, doing some stuff in the big forklift outside. So I just clipped in my speaker and off I went doing my stuff. I really dug it. So I'd probably give this one a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. maybe
Yeah.
6.5.
I think that's fair. I think 6 is fair.
Yeah,
I'm going right in the middle, 5.
going 5.
Yeah. It's
All right.
amazing how the ticket prices have dropped though, because they were very expensive when
Oh,
they
have they
first
really?
released them. Yeah,
Really?
so now you can get lower bowl tickets for 209, 208, but
Still,
like it's high, but they were going for like $400
Well,
initially.
every concert in
Yeah.
an arena is expensive now, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
I think
Pearl
you're
Jam
half
was so
right, Mike.
against high ticket prices early in their career, and it's just like a total 180 of their attitude, right?
Well,
But
is it a 180 their attitude, or are they just looking at it going, it's expensive to do shows?
well, that's what I'm saying, right? It's like you
Right,
don't make
right.
money anymore selling albums. You make money through ticket sales for your concerts, and
And you have to pay your roadies, you have to pay your
Yeah.
truck drivers, you have to pay your security, you have to pay, the overhead is so much these days, especially now. Pearl Jam is not really known for having a massive, massive stage show. So they probably are not dragging along as many trucks as a band like Kiss or Iron Maiden or that one
Taylor
indie
Swift.
band you got that. Don't even get me started with that shit. But like they probably are not dragging as many trucks and tour buses along with them.
no.
But still, the price of gas for those things alone has
Yep.
quadrupled over the years, since 2020. So it's just the mere overhead, and Ticketmaster was really the bane of their existence. Obviously
It's
they
just-
sort of
yeah.
got past it because you can't.
Well, you
not.
have to now, right?
You don't have. Well, I mean, you didn't have a choice back then, but they were young and were gonna do it. So yeah. While we're on the subject of music, and before we get to Mike's thing,
Do we have
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame list is out, guys. Have you seen
That's
it?
true. Well,
Yeah.
you did post it, so I
did.
looked at it briefly while I was at work. But
Let me take
Okay,
a
maybe,
so-
can you post it actually on the stream?
Yeah, I'll find the image and get that done. But just real quick, here are the inductees: Mary J. Blige, Cher, Dave Matthews Band, Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Kool and the Gang, Ozzy Osbourne, A Tribe Called Quest.
So
Those
when
are the hold on.
When I first saw that, I was actually surprised that Ozzy wasn't in already.
You know what?
Like
And
I would have assumed he would have been in. Well, I mean, come on, Mike, you can.
Well,
you can
he
make
is in with Black Sabbath, but
yeah,
right?
a-
Oh,
he's a two-timer.
okay.
Yeah, he was in with Sabbath. Yes,
Yeah.
What? Yeah. So he's in twice. That's
he's
hilarious.
in twice. Yeah.
But you're exactly right. Like Ozzy solo kind of surprised me, but I like
Yeah,
Mike
I
said,
would have
that's
assumed
like-
he would have already been in.
One that surprises me that is not already in there. Actually, there's two of them. Cher and Peter Frampton hadn't gone
Yeah.
in yet.
Yeah,
I would have
Especially
assumed Cher would have gone in
Especially
too.
Cher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, The Rock, the name is a bit of a misnomer these days and has been for probably 20 years at this point, because it's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So you wouldn't expect to see a Mary J. Blige
No.
or a Kool and the Gang or a Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
Right? But that's gone by the wayside. There's been lots of acts from genres that are not specifically classified as rock and roll that have gone in. Foreigner also kind of surprised me, but at the same time, not so much, because they were, I don't want to say flash in the pan, but they
Well, they
didn't
have-
have the longevity as
Well, they're
like a
they're
Cher
not
is.
as famous as Cher or Ozzy or Peter Frampton or.
Well, I think they're bigger than Frampton. They had their first four
Yeah.
records were amazing.
But Peter Frampton is iconic through like the 70s and 80s, right?
And-
Oh,
but
he's only
Frampton also
iconic for
kept
his
going
live
too,
album,
right?
or just for his live
Yeah.
album. though. His studio stuff, nobody cared.
Actually, I couldn't really tell you the last time I listened to Peter Frampton, to be honest with you.
Right?
Okay, so and then a little further down the list, and by the way, Tribe Called Quest, long overdue. Like that's some good hip hop. That's classic. I still got a bunch of Tribe Called Quest sitting on my playlist. So in addition, Alexis Corner, John Mayall, and Big Mama Thornton are getting a musical influence award out of the blues. And Big Mama Thornton, I had to look up, but she was, back in the 50s and 60s, she was inspiring guys like Elvis. So if you were to see the movie Elvis that just came out last year,
Good movie, by the way.
last year, like you'd see Elvis going listening to all the blues singers and the jazz singers and whatnot. And she was one of these people that he heard and inspired him. So that's good. And then Jimmy Buffett is being honored with a musical excellence award along with MC5, Dionne Warwick, and Norman Whitfield. That's an interesting class. Like, it's not surprising that Buffett's getting one this year because he just passed away.
Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville, baby.
Yeah, I've been to a few of those restaurants. It's actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
do you think that Dave Matthews Band should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Yeah. I mean, they're
if
a glorified.
Now they get in eventually, right? It's.
Yeah. I guess.
Right.
Yeah, they're selling.
They're such a meme.
Sell what they do, right? Like they're still able to pack an arena or a festival, and their fans are hardcore Dave Matthews fans, right?
And
like
they're virtuoso instrumentalists, all of them.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
like
but it's also the Dave Matthews Band.
I don't mind DMB once in a while.
Okay, that's fair.
You wait till I play you Wizard, man. You just wait.
Yeah.
You'll be wanting.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know what? Let's just get to that because I mean, I think we're all pretty much of the same mind here, except for we can sit here and listen to Seb hate on Dave Matthews Band, which I'm sure we will now set up down the road. So talk to us, Mikey, about this band you found.
Okay, so what I'd like to do a lot of evenings is when there's something on the TV that I'm not really interested in,
which is a lot of the time,
which is about most of the time. I get on the old YouTube and I subscribe to a couple of channels in Germany and France looking for live music that is just.
This is YouTube, right? Not RedTube.
YouTube. Okay. But I'm always searching for something a little off the wall and something I've never heard of. And usually they have like full film concerts in clubs and then or festivals. I'll just sit there and watch the whole show, whether it's a band like said that band Wukan. That's how I discovered them. The band you're going to watch, Wizard, that's how I discovered them. I've listened to their whole record like 4 times over the weekend. And
yeah, you turned me on to Warduna, I think.
Warduna,
I watched a live concert of theirs, which was phenomenal, by the way.
He's crazy, not crazy, but all these European bands that just you'll never hear of in the States. Sienna Root, another amazing psychedelic band.
I know them. I know Sienna Root. Yeah,
they're amazing.
Good band.
On them. So, but Wizard isn't for everybody. And as I showed Matt a couple of songs,
you have been warned, people.
there's one song I want to play, but
the
title is highly offensive, so I'm not going to play it because I don't want to.
I will say that particular song, I mean, it goes on for a while before the lyrics kick in, so you don't really get that offense right away, except to your sense of music, tone and melody. It is. I liken this to picture the Sandcrawler from Star Wars, full of those messed up droids.
Oh no!
And those droids have all been fed ecstasy, and the Sandcrawler rolled down to a dune and it's flipping over, and they're all just in the middle of it.
So Matt's not a fan.
No, he's not.
First song, no. However,
second song, the one I'm going to play is a little more. It's a lot more pleasing to the palate.
Yeah,
send it. This is a blind reaction from Sebastian here. I've never heard of this band.
Okay. Yeah, let's sort this out. Yeah, I wouldn't. That one song is not the starter kit. It's
no, it is not. So this is Wizard. They're from France. They're 3 young people, and they're amazing.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. They're kind of like post-punk meets. This is gonna sound weird, but like the Talking Heads meets U2 meets Queens of Stone Age meets Nine Inch Nails. Kind of. It's very strange.
Well, I like Talking Heads.
Living the dream.
Yeah, it kind of is very stoner rocky.
Yeah, this is very in the stoner rock genre, but this is like the only song on the record. A lot of them are.
I could be convinced that this is a cover of an 80s Euro pop song.
I just kind of like.
Dude, he's very intense.
Oh yeah, like, he's very. Every time he's on Eurovision, right? Like,
Yeah.
Actually, you know what this guitar riff reminds me of,
What?
and I just watched the last 20 minutes of it. The Jason Bourne riffs from
Oh, really?
Chemical Brothers did it.
Okay.
all the songs are being asked. Right? I think Nirvana, there's a little vibe going on. I don't know.
That's like stoner punk-ish,
Yeah,
punky-ish. It's like if you take Queens of the Stone Age and threw them in like a pop punk scenario.
yeah. Then they turn into like this sort of like ambient music thing for a little bit.
All right.
It's funny you say that because that's the exact band Mike pulled to describe the rest of it to me. He's like, it's kind of Queens of the Stone Age, and yeah, I feel that.
Like, the bass players.
I'd have to dig into their catalog a little bit to see if I can make a judgment
There's not
on
much.
it.
Like, this album is not enough. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Like all this record.
It's definitely not going to be for everybody. I can already tell
No,
you that.
it's not.
It's very specific to, you know.
Yeah. And
I'm looking at this, and one of the things that interests me is the different stuff. No, that's not the right word. Posture of certain guitar players.
Yep.
This guitar player here, as you're watching him, he's got it very high
yes,
as he's playing, whereas some
Some
guys
low
will have it
comes
just
down, right?
slung so low it's like they're scratching their balls.
Yeah.
Well, that's all dependent on how long your hands are, to be honest with you. Like if you
I
have
believe
short
that.
arms, then you need to have it high. Like Tom Morello has short arms. And if you ever see
Oh, yeah.
Tom Morello, his guitar is like up to his chest almost.
Yeah,
Like, he has
it's
it very
almost like
high.
he's playing the violin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you need to be able to get your hands around the fretboard, right? So it has to be high if you can't get to the notes. So, but it also doesn't look good. Like the lower the guitar is, the
guitar
more
looks cool.
badass it looks, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Also-
just it, right?
Also, look at Zach Wilde, the way he plays. He plays with his guitar kind of like in a different position too. Like
Yeah.
the neck
Better
of his
work on
guitar
that.
will be more upright than most other guitarists because he's got this like wide power stance that he
Yeah.
has
You want
usually,
more?
right? So,
Nope. He doesn't.
so I'll dive into it. I'll give you
should.
my
There-
opinion when I have a couple of listens to
okay.
it. So,
So when I said that the Pearl Jam stuff, it's all stuff I've heard before, right? And that's the same problem I have with a lot of these older bands. But on music, it's like, great, you put a new record out, yeah, I'm happy. And then a week later, I'm like, man, I don't care.
you want diversity and new
I want
things.
something fresh.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Wizard is they're fresh. They're weird, and the album is bizarre. But it's sort of it speaks to me. Like they're playing what's coming out of their hearts, and that's what comes out on their records. And I think that is amazing.
Yeah,
And
that's a
they-
good way
they
of
have,
looking
like,
at it, right?
300 followers on YouTube or something like that. It's super low, but they're living their dream. Like they're doing, from what every musician said, you, me, they're living the dream, right? They're touring. They're from France. That show is in Germany. Cool. They're
Yeah.
touring. Like they're a working band. And I think that's just awesome. If I could find their record here, I went out record hunting on Saturday with
Like
the
a
boy.
vinyl.
Yeah, well, I got those two up there. I got Load and St. Anger, and I got another one. It is.
Oh, he's excited.
Wizard.
I'm gonna bet Justice. No.
There's a lot of wizard artists on Spotify.
No,
so.
it has nothing to do with Metallica, and it was in the bargain bin. And this just, honestly,
Here we go.
Seb, do you have a guess what this possibly could be?
No.
Okay.
It's not metal though.
No.
I don't know your musical taste anymore. Like I'm shook from that first
Okay,
Wizard
well,
song
this-
you introduced me to.
Well, this might knock you right down then and further shake you, because I found the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever.
Yes. Yes.
Fuck yeah. $11.99 in the bargain bin. This is an original copy. The vinyl's mint. I wonder why. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, oh yeah. And there's like the inside of the sleeve is just awesome. So will I ever play it? Probably not. But Staying Alive is one. The Bee Gees are awesome. The Bee Gees are great.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on the Bee Gees.
You can't hate on the Bee Gees. They're the like
Actually,
they're the
that
Australian
album is
Beatles.
that album is in the top 10 albums of all time in terms of
There's a
sales.
reason.
Sold
This
over
is-
40 million copies of that album.
Yeah.
What's number one
Album of all time.
album of all time? Single
It's
album of all time.
The Eagles'
It's an easy
greatest
one.
hits, isn't it?
No, it's not. Eagles is
Oh.
fifth, I think.
Oh.
Eagles sold 44. The number one
big
album of
deal.
all time, and I just saw this morning, that's why it's fresh in my mind, has sold over 70 million copies. You know it.
Well, I mean, Dark Side of the Moon was on the Billboard Top 100
That's
for
number
13 some
4.
odd years. What's
That's
that?
number 4. That's number 4.
Thriller?
Yes, Thriller. Michael Jackson's Thriller.
That's what I was gonna say next was Thriller.
Do you know what
Yeah.
number 2 is? AC/DC, Back in Black.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
That was a banger.
Yep.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's interesting.
Give me some Bon Scott.
Well, I mean, hey, it's one of those things. It's are you a Bon or a Brian guy?
I'm a Bon.
You know?
I'm a Brian guy.
Well, the album was dedicated to Bon. He wrote Shake It. He helped
Sure.
write Shake a Leg.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, and that's that's one of those things we've discussed it before. Bon or Brian,
They
Sammy
have
or
to
Dave,
continue. Yeah.
right?
Well, they don't have a
Um,
choice. They have to continue, right? Or they stop being a band. And I think
Yeah.
Brian is a very good
Mm,
ideal person to come in and take the mantle, right? So
I'm gonna-
it's
I'm going to disagree with that because
mean, it could
Rage
have been
Against the
Axl Rose.
Machine fired a singer, and they stayed
Yeah.
together as a trio and brought in a new singer, and a very, very good career as a similar band.
sure.
Um,
Yeah.
a little more radio friendly, so they probably made a bunch more money with that one. But
Can I show you one more video of this other band?
absolutely.
Oh,
I
my
got
God.
4 minutes in. I had to turn it off because I couldn't look at them. But this band is called Skier and Yeti. It doesn't leave anything to the imagination. So here I'll
Where the hell are you
Hold on.
going and down the rabbit hole here, guys?
hang on a second. Let's stop
Um,
sharing that one, Matt. I got to turn that one off.
okay,
Um,
I'm removing that one.
Okay.
Yeah, Seb, we are going down the rabbit hole.
Oh, we are.
This is
This-
what's going to happen. Mike's
was
had
like-
way too much time to think before the show, so I think we need to go back to mornings.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We're down a weird
Okay,
music
here we
rabbit
go.
hole
Let's
here.
Here we go.
Skier and Yeti.
So literally the
Okay,
singer.
then.
Okay, then. The drummer's a Yeti. The skier's playing the guitar on the ski. This is just amazing.
Skier, literal
That-
skier.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
No imagination here.
For our
Dude, there's 2 strings
audio
on the guitar.
only people, it's just throw it into your YouTube. Skier and Yeti. There is
Yeah.
a Yeti playing the drums, and
He's playing
Dude,
guitar,
man.
a ski that's been
Like
turned
in-
into a guitar with 2 strings on it.
a competitive ski outfit.
This
Is
is
it a
about as far as I've gotten. I don't know what this is going to turn into, so I have no idea.
It sounds more like a bass than a guitar.
There's
Yeah.
44 minutes of this.
I know. That's the
Oh
thing. It's
my
got me-
god!
it's got
Let me know how it turns out for you, Mike.
Oh, I'm going to watch it all later. Don't you worry.
Oh my god.
And I don't do drugs. Maybe I
hell
should
of a
start.
soup
Maybe
strainer
that's-
he's got on his
No,
upper
don't
lip.
do that. Oh my goodness.
This is amazing.
Yeah,
can't
that's one way of
imagine-
saying it. Yeah.
Playing drums.
How hot he is in that outfit, playing drums in that club.
I hope he has multiples or a good dry cleaner because that goes stank. I feel like he just poured the sweat out of his boots afterwards. This is wow.
Wow.
I think what we've learned from this is we need to recommend some better TV shows to Mike.
We do, definitely.
No. Well, I could watch the Food Network, which is always on, which is fine, or I could watch this, or I could do both.
I mean, fair enough. Fair
Right?
enough.
I love me some Food Network, but I'm also loving me some Skier and Yeti.
You're the only one.
Oh my god!
For
Some of
real.
the stuff I find on these. This channel is called WDR Rock Palast, German channel, and I guess they're really good. I've seen Clutch on here, all sorts of.
Well,
cool
that's actually a
bands.
decent band. So
Yeah. This is, I don't know, 45
yeah,
minutes.
no, this
of
isn't for me, Mike. I'm sorry.
This might be a little bit much.
Definitely not for me.
But how is it 45 minutes? That's what I don't get. Oh, he's
Yeah,
got
I
other
don't know.
guitars.
Okay, so
Ooh.
here's a question for you guys about this particular band, and for everybody out there who's watching along with us. What drug are they on? What? I'm
I
thinking we got
don't think they're
some-
on anything. I think they're just.
I'm calling this mushrooms. I'm calling this mushrooms.
Oh boy.
It's a one-string bass. That's amazing. Oh, it's two. There's two there.
Oh my.
Drummer's good.
goodness.
Matt, you can turn this off whenever. I don't
Yeah,
care.
that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good background music, though. It's actually good background music.
It's, you know what?
That's
You got a
something,
point.
that's
It's got
for
that,
sure.
that nice little bass beat to it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's wasn't too terrible. That's something to behold, though. Can you
Hey.
imagine just
Oh my
you know,
god! You
getting
shut up,
getting
dude, you
free
still left
tickets
it on.
or
You-
being asked out on a date and going, oh, we're going to go to this music festival thing.
Oh,
Cool,
yeah.
music festival.
That's why
Okay,
you always
it's a
need an
fun
extra.
thing. Maybe
You
it's
always
cool,
need
you
an
know, you get
extra
in there and then you're
strategy.
like, I'm watching what now?
You should have left it on because this is getting.
No, you're good taking
Real.
it off. It's all good. It's all
This
good.
is-
You know what, Mike? We're going to leave it up to you to find us another clip of that or
No,
post it to the show. Seb's out.
I finally got him.
Seb's
hey,
gonna
I'm
take
all
the day off
for
work and-
interesting music, to be honest with you. But sometimes people are just doing things just to be weird, and it doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, they're obviously doing
So-
things just to be weird, right?
You know.
You know
just
who
what
he
it is.
reminded me of? The skier.
Who?
Just with the wacky outfit and the way he moved and the big mustache. You remember the last scene in Up in Smoke
No.
No.
where they're playing with the band and Cheech has got
That's
the
an
tutu on and
obscure
the,
poll
the
here.
leather helmet and playing bass. Yeah, that kind of where the skier kind of landed for me. Now that I think about it. So, all right. Well, that's
Yeah.
Mike's musical tastes.
Well, that's my music. No,
It-
Skier and Yeti is not my musical taste.
Apparently, it is.
Well, I just like to find weird stuff and just watch it and just I don't know.
Well,
And again, I'm going to make sure that it's on the YouTube, right?
YouTube. Yes, it's on
Okay.
YouTube, Matt. Yes, it's on YouTube. Oh, even Corrosion of Conformity was on this channel 9 months ago. There you go.
Oh, there
That
you
was
go.
good.
Yeah, that was a good show.
So I know Matt was just open to the idea, or just made aware of 15 minutes ago, that the hockey playoffs just started.
Yes, I did realize that.
Did any of you guys happen to watch the Canucks games
Alberta,
yesterday?
yes, Dallas. Dallas has dropped some tunes on us. Thank you for joining us, Taryn. Thanks for tuning in. And you know, if you're watching this, check out Taryn on TDS, Taryn and Des show tomorrow on their Facebook page as well. And
Noise.
so, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so yes, I'm a little bit behind for a guy that also is getting ready for season 2 of a hockey podcast. Yeah, the fact that the playoffs started completely escaped me. It's
Wow.
been a,
So
it's
let me
been
just-
a bit of a couple of weeks around here.
Let me just make this comment. So I mean, I'm a lifelong Canucks fan, which I was broken, 13 years ago or 12 years ago.
And
12 years
26
ago?
years ago.
In 2011 when they lost to Boston in Game 7. But there's something special going on right now as a Vancouver Canucks fan, honestly.
Yeah, fire insurance is going through the roof.
Well, watching the game last night and just the electricity in that stadium alone, it is wild. It is absolutely wild.
Yeah,
Well, I
Taryn,
hope-
let's go Oilers.
Well, to be fair, the Canucks owned the Oilers this year, so
Oh,
bring them
shit.
on. Let's play them in the
Well,
second
Boston
round
owned
because they
Toronto.
owned-
Toronto beat them tonight, so whatever.
Yeah, but,
Regular
so-
season means nothing.
but yeah, it's watching the game last night. I don't know if you guys picked up the game, but the game changed in 12 seconds. So
Yeah, it did, right?
like literally bang bang. And so just to highlight something, the special teams, like the good teams, the teams that win championships,
Mhm.
even if they're not playing their best, they find a way to win. They find a way to capitalize. They find an opportunity and they seize it. And that's been the Canucks this entire season. Yeah, they haven't won every game, but they have this ability to turn it up in the right moment and turn the game around for them. And to be fair, the first save of the game. So this is an interesting thing. Kirk McLean did the siren at the beginning of the game. You know,
Yes.
the whole like, let's get the crowd going siren thing.
Yep.
And he's most known for the save of the century back in 94, where it was
The
a double
fluke?
overtime. That wasn't a
Hey,
fluke.
come on
Oh, it
now.
was a fucking fluke.
So the last, like in 94, he did the save of the century against Calgary in double over. It might have been the first overtime or might have been the second in game 7, which kept them into the series. The very first save of the game was like a literal save of the century type save by Thatcher Demko on a 2-on-1 against Nashville.
That was an
and it's just
amazing
like,
save.
that's the first thing I thought of. Like, it's freaking Kirk McLean on the and it wasn't an easy save because he literally had the splits and went post to post in the splits to save it, right? So I'm just saying, I don't know if they're going to win the cup this year or not. Like, I want them to because I'm a lifelong Canucks fan, but something special is happening in Vancouver and you could feel it in the electricity in that arena. I have people that I come to the pub that have had season tickets for 15-20 years, and I'm maybe it's just recency biased, I don't know, but they're like, I have never heard it this loud in the arena. You could not hear the announcer, so they score the second goal to tie the game, and then 12 seconds later they
Yes.
score the third goal. People were yelling still, and you couldn't hear the announcements. No one sat down in the entire game, pretty much. It was just, there's something special happening right now in Vancouver, honestly. So
Here it is, Eb.
this is the save of the century. Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Game 7
Yep.
overtime. So, yeah, but to be
Uh-huh.
fair,
Save
there's
of
a
the
lot of
century, my
great.
ass.
It's not the actual save that's the important part. It's the timing of that save, right? It's that's the third overtime in a row that they're playing. So, but yeah, I'm glued to these playoffs, because it's the first time in 9 years that the Canucks have a meaningful playoff game. We don't count the bubble NHL because that was like a weird setup.
No championships from the bubble count. It's all garbage.
Well, okay. Listen, if Montreal makes it to the finals, you know that your system is flawed.
Wow.
With the team they had a couple years ago, come on, man.
And
There's
the
no
Dodgers
way they
won
make the finals.
the World Series, and Lakers won the NBA. It's all garbage.
It's all weird that year, yeah. So, but yeah, so it's interesting, these playoffs. So, I'm a big fan. It's obviously good for business. I'm in a unique position. Well, I'm in a unique position because I'm working while most of them are on. So like I'm by
Getting paid to watch hockey.
Well, pretty much people come in, ask for hockey, right? So, on
Nothing
Sunday,
wrong with that. Hey,
No,
if
it's
you can
great.
put on something you like at work and are able to, even if you're busy and able to just catch bits and pieces, it's 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Like, let's
and
not forget, I used to work in a movie theater, so I appreciates that.
there you go.
I do want to say one thing about Quinn Hughes. He is the best defenseman in the NHL. Like, I don't know a ton about hockey, but just watching him and with the speed and the eyes,
Mike, oh my God.
He's insane. Like, he honestly is, he's like little baby Bobby Orr.
Dude, if he doesn't win the Norris this year,
That's big words.
If he doesn't win the Norris this year, he got robbed.
He's only going to get better too. He's like, what, 16? Like, it's,
dude, he has the highest time out of any player in the NHL with time on, like, puck on stick.
Yes.
So he has the puck all the time. And
he's
let me tell you,
if he goes down, they're dead.
Yeah, they absolutely. But I have seen a couple of games live this year, and the advantage of going to see a game live is that you can watch players that are on camera, because you have to kind of succumb to where the cameraman puts you when you're watching it on TV. So you don't get to watch players and what they do off the puck. But when you watch Quinn Hughes off the puck, that guy is unreal. He's always in the right position. And let's be honest, when you watch professional hockey, NHL level hockey, you have like under half of a second to make a decision every time you get the puck because it's that fast. And the fact that he's always like, oh, he's in trouble, but somehow gets out of trouble and always makes the correct decision is it's amazing to watch him on the ice. Like there's not a lot of defensemen that can play like him. There's maybe about 3 or 4 in the NHL that have that ability. So and he's probably one of the best skaters, just how smooth he skates on the ice of anyone in the league right now. So yeah, I'm high on the Canucks, but you know, they're my team, so suck it.
Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
I can take my ball busting hat off for a little while if I felt like it, and I don't. But you mentioned the decision making. There isn't a lot of decision making. It's instinctual reaction. You don't.
Yeah.
It's not even that you don't have. You only have half a second. You don't. You go with your instincts. You go with training. You go with practice.
Well,
and that's when it really gets into guys' heads because because they go with their reaction and it's a bad decision. Whether it's a bad decision because it's an instinctive thing, it's like, oh, over here, it's like, oh, that is not the color jersey I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye. Or you know, it's like, oh, I didn't realize that this guy was just outside of my peripherals. We see as fans a very different view than what a player sees, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. We see it as fans from the camera's view. We see it from the seat view. We see a bird's eye view generally of what's going on. We don't see that first player view, that first person view of what's going on. We don't know what they see. And that goes for referees too. We don't, what ref are you blind? Is like, no, this shit happened over here. I wasn't looking over there. I was looking over there at this thing going on. Or why would he pass it to this guy when this other guy is open? He's got nobody around him. And sometimes it's just off to the peripheral enough that shadow of another player, it doesn't register that there's 30 feet between where everybody realizes the guy is open and the defending or the opposing player. And it happens all the time. And fans get fucking uppity about it. And it drives me
Armchair quarterbacks, man. Armchair quarterbacks.
Yeah. And, you know, and as football, especially because football's got an extremely restrictive view with your helmet, right?
Yeah.
Like that's probably the most restricted view in professional sports. Hockey helmets are a lot better, but still it's so fast. Guys are moving so fucking fast. Yeah. And it's just, I got the puck. He looks open. He wasn't open. And fans get so up, and fucking sports pundits too. And some of these guys that have been in the game that then go out and there's, I don't know why I did that. And the other day, why he should have been passing over here. It's like, motherfucker, you were on the ice. You were on the field.
Yeah.
You were on the mound.
I mean, just look at,
that he doesn't, it was just a reaction. And it's not all good decisions. And when the game tapes come back and these guys get done the hard game, they're exhausted. They know, you know, I might have coughed up the puck and it cost us a goal. They know the outcome. It registers. Time slows down when you're sitting on the bench again. And that's when it really gets into guys' heads. And that's when you see things like slumps happen. And then they got to go out there and fucking explain themselves to the media.
Yeah.
Or worse yet, their phone blows up in this day and age. I can't imagine why any athlete in any sport even bothers with social media at this point. Fans just need to fucking chill and enjoy the game and not try to re-coach it.
Well, but that's part of the allure of being the fun of being a fan is, right? You can yell at the screen. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, no, believe me.
But man, I don't understand how goalies can track the puck like on the ice, because some of those shots you can't even see them. like they'll
No.
leave the stick and like I don't even know where the puck went. Like it's so fast. So
Oh yeah, those things
Yeah.
are coming a mile a minute.
yeah,
Which
100,
is
100 miles, 104
oh,
miles. So the
yeah,
hardest shots, right?
it's
So
yeah, and
that's hard to see, man.
And then, in the other case, maybe it's not coming lightning quick. It's coming a lot slower, but it's a lot closer to the net. And there's,
Yeah.
5 other guys right in front of you. So all of a sudden, you're waiting for it. It's here.
Yeah,
You don't see it
interesting.
until it's
Yeah.
6 inches away going over your shoulder.
It's interesting too, is Saturday was a couple games, Sunday was a couple games, there's a couple games today. Not a single one has gone into overtime yet. We haven't had an overtime game. And usually there's always like one initially that like goes into overtime. So that's
That's
not a
no,
single one
it was the mid to late 90s. There was a series. It was the Detroit Red Wings and the Anaheim Mighty Ducks back before their jerseys got lame. Detroit went 4-0, swept them, but every game went to overtime.
Oh, I remember that.
All 4 of those games. It was great friggin' hockey. It's like, what? But they got swept. I'm like, yeah, but they played like 17 periods, 18 periods or whatever it was. Like, it was ridiculous. I mean, the poor Ducks, it wasn't even bad beats or bad ref calls or anything. It was just shit.
Yeah.
They got the one extra in, the 78th minute or whatever it happened to be. And I thought we were going down this deep down this path. I would have looked that up because that was one of my favorite series to watch. It was really cool seeing it's like every game being in overtime, and it's just the Wings were a friggin' juggernaut back then, though. It was like the Wings in Colorado, and everybody else can just get in line for third place.
Yeah, so here's a question. Now that we're talking, you just made me think of it. How do you guys feel about the whole, or if you're aware that Arizona is moving to Utah?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing in a college rink. Like, the fuck? Go play in a real arena.
The problem with Arizona is where their arena is located. It's so far away from the main hub of
yeah. So is their football.
Glendale.
So is the football team. It's in Glendale. It's not even close to anything, right? Same time.
Well, here's the other thing.
As a player, hold on. As a player,
Yeah.
I think you love playing in Arizona. Like, why would you want to play in Arizona? It's a travel destination for a lot of people, right? Like, you have golf courses everywhere. It's in the middle of the desert. It's always warm and hot. There's like pools everywhere. But
snowbirds.
But
a lot of Canadian hockey fans down there.
For sure, right? So do you think Utah is the city that it should go to, though?
Where else should it go?
Portland, Kansas City?
Portland, no.
I can't see Portland.
What do you mean?
Like size-wise, metropolitan area-wise, sure. I don't think Portland has the culture for it. Oregon in particular is not really known for being a sports hub in any way, shape.
They're all about.
They don't even have basketball anymore, do they?
Yeah, they do. They got the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers are still there, but they're hot garbage.
Quebec City, maybe?
No, I think Utah is.
Well,
I think Utah's good.
Hold on, solid point right there. But here's the other thing. So Arizona, right as this struggle came to an end, because I mean they've been years looking for a new arena and trying to fund a new arena. The controversy down there, and I have this from a buddy of mine's parents that lived in the area. They snowbird down there. The controversy is they found a site for it. They wanted to build it, but there's not enough. There's barely enough water for the residents. And the NHL and the Coyote owners wanted to drop a stadium in there. You know how much water the construction would take, let alone operating that building? And so the residents were like, the fuck you will.
Well, and also they wanted the residents to pay for it too. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
That's why the A's are moving to Las Vegas.
Well,
yeah. So Las Vegas has proven to be a good sports area now. Awesome.
And all of the stuff is each stadium is walking distance from each other. So the baseball stadium's going in where the Tropicana, I don't think they've actually ripped it down yet, but I think it's closed now. We stayed at the hotel next door to the Tropicana when we were down there in January. And from our room, I could see Allegiant Stadium up the road, and right down on the Tropicana, And I'm like, there's just so much undeveloped stuff. And I didn't realize that was where the baseball stadium was going until I talked to friends of ours that are locals. And then we walked up the street and I realized that the hockey arena is right outside New York as well. So, I mean, that's a pretty sweet setup.
Yeah.
I mean,
I actually think
everything's right there, right in the hub.
I actually think that Utah kind of makes sense.
It does make sense.
It's just, I mean, it's a good area. Like you got Colorado to the east, you got Nevada to the west. So it's kind of like in that Midwest area.
It's relatively central. I mean, yeah. I mean, San Jose and Anaheim and LA are not that far.
Yeah,
you know,
2 states over.
You straight north, you got Calgary and Edmonton. So
it's interesting. When are they moving next season, or is it the season after?
You know, they're gone.
Next season?
Their bags are packed.
They're done.
They're leaving
on
a
trip. Are they going to
plane.
rename the team to the Utah Mormons, or?
Well, they said they're not in a rush.
That was Sebastian, ladies and gentlemen. Just for the, Utah's not that much. The Coyotes still work in Utah. Whether they call it,
yeah, they're going to rebrand.
They're changing the
team
name. They
sure.
can't take the Coyotes name with them.
It's
staying in Arizona. So the owners said they're going to take their time. If they don't have a name next year, they'll be like the Utah hockey team. Just like Washington did. Right?
They'll follow the
Commanders.
I was going to say the other name, but
they should have kept the Washington football team. I think that's a better name than the Commanders. Are stupid.
I don't like that name.
Not a big fan.
No, the other one wasn't good either, but it. Yeah,
I mean, Utah makes sense because the Jazz.
Cool, but yeah, it was more than just a little bit dated to a period where we should have known better, but didn't.
Yes. Sorry, Sebi, you're saying about the Jazz?
Well, there's already a stadium there. They don't have to build anything, right? No. So it just makes sense because the Utah Jazz, they'll just play.
And the owner wants a hockey team bad, and he'd do whatever it takes.
Well, he bought the contracts of the Arizona Coyotes executives apparently.
Cool.
So it
says, I believe the arena there, the state, is already fitted for hockey because of the Winter Games.
Yeah. Yeah, they retrofitted the Delta Center back in 2002 to support hockey, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Initially, what I'm reading is that Ryan Smith, who's like the owner of the Jazz and will be the owner of the Utah team, is going to implement a fan voted bracket with some names. So the fans will decide what the team's name is going to be.
This
which is nice.
Well.
I don't know. Some of the names are pretty good. So I'll just list you some of the names that they feel like it's going to be included. So Utah Blizzard, Utah Venom, Utah Fury, Utah Yetis, Utah Outlaws.
Skier and Yeti.
I do like the Yetis, man. Band. I do like the Yetis. Utah Yetis. I also like Utah Outlaws. That's pretty
Venom cool. Might get them sued by Marvel.
Well, no, they won't. I also think Vegas dropped the ball because I think the best name Vegas could have come up with was the Las Vegas Sin. That's just so cool. That's such a good name.
Yeah,
but it's also paints a negative image. So
no, I think the Golden Knights is a much better name than that.
No, I mean I understand why he wanted to call. Well, he initially wanted to call it the Black Knights because of his.
If this was 1975, then yes, the Sin would be amazing.
Well, the owner was forget me if I'm
he was like in the military or something.
Yeah, and he was part of like the Black Knights, but he wasn't allowed to call it that, so he decided to call it the Golden Knights, which makes sense. So Vegas Gold, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, I get it, but I still think it's the dumbest name in NHL history, and that includes
the Mighty Ducks. Is any better?
Seals. What's that?
The Golden Seals is good. The Mighty Ducks, like, come on.
Oh no, trust me. Yeah, I agree. The Mighty Ducks is fucking dumb too. But at least they kind of had that tongue in cheek. Yeah, we're the Mighty Ducks. We're owned by Disney.
Well, they're now called the Anaheim Ducks. But yeah, when they first came into the league, they weren't called Anaheim. They're called Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. That was their name.
Yeah.
It was just like, why? That's weird. But
and they had those just killer purple and teal jerseys with the what basically looked like Donald Duck on the like. I was there for it.
And the Golden Seals is a great name. So, F you.
you know what? There's a whole lot of seal jokes there and balls bouncing on noses and just yeah. No, I thought that was. I don't like it. But I agree. I think they could have done better. However,
I guess
fan voting on names always scares me because it's just you just end up with some.
Well, the owner could always say, you know what, all your ideas suck, and we're going with it. It's his team.
I guess they don't need to reshuffle the teams because Arizona's in the West.
No,
right?
They don't need to reshuffle the conferences at all. Just
which is nice.
Utah's basically straight north. Like
they move up a time zone to Mountain from whatever. I think Arizona is they 2 hours ahead of Arizona, or an hour.
I think so.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's nice. They don't have to reshuffle conferences. That's good. I actually think so. I hate the way they do the conferences now. I don't like it.
What, Nashville being in the West? That makes a lot of sense.
No. Oh. I mean the way they do the playoffs. So it's basically 3 teams from each division and 2 wildcard teams. I want them to go back to
the top
1 through 8 on the conference, right? Because now it's like first plays both the first play the wild cards and then 2 and 3 play against each other.
Yeah.
Why can't they just go back to 1 through 8? It just makes the most sense.
Because it's got to be convoluted and complicated. That's why.
But you get so many good matchups that are out, like good teams that are out in the first round. You know.
I don't know.
I think I don't like it.
I think it raises the stakes for those 2 teams.
I don't like it.
Look at Toronto and Boston. They both got over 100 points.
I don't like it.
It's like, oh shit.
I don't like it. Change it back 1 through 8. It makes the most sense.
No, why? Well, 4 and 5 could be just as good, right? Like it could be.
They did it to reduce travel time, I believe, right? Because you play the team pretty much within your division, so it's less likely that you're gonna get an.
Is Nashville in the Pacific Division?
They're the wild card. That's why they're playing Vancouver. But like, hold on, let me.
Yeah, because Nashville is definitely not in the Pacific area. And just to answer your question, Arizona is basically moving directly north.
North, yeah.
So they're going to stay in whatever time zone they're in. I think they're only an hour ahead. Much like our friends in Alberta.
Yeah.
And
Utah's Mountain Time, just like Colorado.
Nashville's in the Central, but the reason they did it is because they want closer matchups so that you're not like having to fly. Because if they did 1 to 8, you never know what the matchup's going to be, right? So, but I don't know.
I don't understand your point.
I think if you go 1 to 8, you have better teams making it deeper into the playoffs, right? Now you have a situation where Toronto's playing Boston in the first round, and both teams legitimately should be making it to the next round. You have Florida playing Tampa Bay in the first round. Both teams.
Toronto doesn't go to the second round, dude. Come on.
Well, beside that point, right? Like you have Florida and Tampa Bay playing in the first round. Like those are 2 teams that could win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, they're meeting in the first round. I think
it makes a more compelling first round.
I don't know.
Well, look what Florida did last year. They steamrolled everybody
and lost.
Right? So, but they beat the Bruins, President's Trophy. Yeah. My kid's a Bruins fan. The look on his face is something I never want to see again. After they lost that game,
we have to talk. We have to talk.
He's wearing his Bruins jersey. You're not changing.
I can't believe it. I cannot.
I need Cooper to do a run-in right now and just
he won't.
Please, dear God, no.
Do a dance behind Mike and his Bruins.
He's not listening to this either. So he's sad.
Anyways, the next game's tomorrow at 7. Tune in. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're a little over an hour, and with that, I'm going to remind you, Vancouver residents, the further the Canucks get into the playoffs, the more likely it is you're going to need fire extinguishers and
riot.
It's coming.
What's coming?
It was funny. Just as a quick anecdote here, a couple weeks ago, you can, and this is in the archives on Cheap Seat Book, and we were doing a WrestleMania preview. I was talking to my buddy out in Philly there, going on the show, and he says, if Roman wins, we're burning the city down. And I politely informed him that it is Vancouver's gimmick, and we will sue for gimmick infringement.
Well, they just seem to riot all the time.
So said your Golden Knights are winning.
There's a controversial thing with that too, is because Mark Stone has miraculously been cleared to be
Hey,
in
miracles happen, man.
miracles from a lacerated spleen. He was out in
Oh,
his,
no big deal.
Hey,
makes it back in time for game one. The
Oh
captain
yeah,
of
he
the
does. He's a
team.
tough guy.
But you know
this
what the
is
controversy
hockey
behind that?
play hurt.
That's not it at all. They kept him off the shelf longer than needed because they were trying to squeeze players underneath the salary cap because he was on LTR. So he could have come back sooner, but they're like, well, let's just have him not come back until the playoffs so that we could pick up a couple players on the deadline. Like it's just
Aren't they
that's
the master? They're the masters of manipulation. That franchise.
Well,
Look
so
what
they're
they've done.
manipulating the salary cap is
Yeah, of
basically what
course.
everyone's saying, right? And they're like, oh, look, he's miraculously healthy for game one of the playoffs. He could have been healthy 2 weeks ago. He was probably healthy 2 weeks ago. So, yeah. And Mark Stone is like there's their captain, right? So he's very important to that team. I don't think.
And my Oilers are up 2-0 at the end of the first.
Your
Oilers.
Oilers? Oh my
Oilers.
God. Don't listen to
Killer.
him.
And round 2, hey, if the Canucks and Oilers make it through round 1, they're playing in round 2. So now then we can shit talk each other all we want.
Oh,
man,
I cannot wait for this. That is going.
I'm going to own you, Mike.
My week.
And I will be wearing an Oilers jersey when they make the second round.
What is wrong with you?
I need this to happen in my life just because I can start prepping now to needle both of you. And
Dude,
I'm really
Mike's been
looking
an
forward to
Oilers
it.
fan for 3.5 minutes. Like it's
No, I've been an Oilers fan for about
here we go.
5 years, maybe.
Could be
I don't
worse. You could
care.
be a
I don't
Bruins
have to
fan.
like a team. Okay, fine. Fuck you. I'm cheering for the Rangers. How's that? Like them
Why
apples.
would you cheer for the Rangers?
And
You don't even
Boston.
Well, I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah,
Terry
there you go.
called it.
Your turn.
dude,
just
you
take
don't
it
even
out.
like those
No.
two teams. You're
No,
just
I
cheering
don't.
it to troll me.
Yes, I am. I am
Right.
all I'm doing.
All right.
I'll wear Cooper's
I'm here
Boston
for it.
jersey. Next week I'm wearing Cooper's Boston jersey.
All
That's
right.
what I'm gonna
Well,
do.
tune in next week where the podcast will just be Matt and Mike.
Until
All right,
Seb
let's get
butts
outta
in
here.
the door behind Mike and strangles him. Well, tune in next week to see exactly what kind of fights are going to happen. We're going to keep trying the
Exactly.
Monday thing until one of us falls asleep at the keyboard.
Oh, that won't be me.
It won't be
That'll
me
be
either.
Yeah,
Mr.
and
5
God knows
a.m.
what we're going to talk about. We'll see what comes up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Monday night. I really appreciate it. People that had not been able to check us out before because we were doing it Saturday morning and they work. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for sticking with our technical difficulties. I will get this ironed out. It sort of popped up as the live stream started, so I was kind of had my hands tied on that one. But this will be available. I will on YouTube and Twitch as well, and I will get it scooched over to the Facebook page where it lives. And don't forget to take us with you on Apple and Spotify. Dear God, like our show, share our show, give us 5 stars. Like, I mean, we may not deserve it, but help a brother out.
We deserve it.
We deserve it.
We deserve it.
There it is.
Yeah, and check out Mandatory Music.
Oh, yes, mandatory music. I have not had a chance to listen to the last couple of episodes yet.
Oh,
It's
our
been a hell
last
of a-
one was our best one. That's
It's a good one.
my opinion. I've listened to it actually a few times.
I saw what song it was, and I'm like, oh, this could get fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was a really good conversation. Yeah, we had a good time. So this week's will be some kind of thing. You catch the hint on that one? If you're a Metallica
I think
fan.
I did. That's sounds like a monster episode.
Could be a monster. Absolutely, very much so. So check us out: Apple, Spotify,
We'll be-
Amazon, Podcast Index.
We might
Hey,
be
shut
angry during that episode too.
What?
Nothing.
Saints alive.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Cheers, ladies and gentlemen. Good night. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next Monday night at 7 p.m. Hopefully, everywhere we're supposed to be this time.
Hopefully.
Bye.